Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Black Butler, chapter 175. When we last left our heroes, Ada had just been very, very willingly shown the bloodletting room to Lau and Baldroy. And we see that Ada seems very noble in her intentions. She's not, if she is, in fact, as she probably is, working for the Aurora Society in some way, she doesn't know it. Her interests are, the best interests for her patients. And that sort of leads to a bit of a split between Lau and Baldroy, as Baldroy wants to find some kind of peaceful solution to everything, and Lau is very ready to just start killing, all in the service of the Earl. And that's kind of where we left off, with that sort of rift forming between our heroes. So yeah, let's jump right on into chapter 175, The Butler sympathizing, which is very fitting for where Baldroy is this time. Anyway, our picture here is of a picnic, which Ciel and Sebastian are having as the servants are all approaching. The sun shines through the trees, erasing the memories of Gunsmoke. And so we open pretty much right where we left off, with Lau sort of taunting Baldroy. Come. This blood collection facility harms the interests of the Earl. What did you come here for, Master Cook? And Baldroy kind of clenches his fist and says, I do understand, of course. We came here to investigate if this place collects blood. We annihilate it if it is. That's my duty. And Lau kind of takes that as a victory. Then we should first kill every doctor and nurse. What shall we do about the tradesmen? But Baldroy kind of stops him. However, if we kill only the sanatorium staff, they'll simply be replaced, and the blood collection will continue. Hold on. So, is that a Baldroy line? Because that feels more like a Lau line. Like the sort of callousness of it all. Like that feels more like Lau than Baldroy, but I think this is still Baldroy speaking. And then I think this is Lau now. Then the easiest way would be to burn down this place. And Baldroy responds, we should destroy this facility, but young master did not command we also kill those who are being taken advantage of and don't know the truth. So we're seeing Baldroy kind of like weasel his way out of killing Ada. He is on board with stopping the bloodletting. That's obviously the goal. But that does not mean that they have to kill Ada. I doubt Lau is going to take too happy to that. And Baldroy looks up at him. I'll accomplish my mission, but I'm not sure on the how part yet. Won't you give me a couple of days? And Lau counters, in China, we say, a single moment can be worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Words that caution against wasting time, as the translator note tells us. But Baldroy kind of grins at him. I thought you wanted to relax a little more. And Lau just kind of sighs. Fine. It's been many years since I last went without alcohol and cigarettes. Oh no, that's a Baldroy line. Hold on. It's been many years since I last went without alcohol and cigarettes for 3 days straight. What do you normally do to your body? Though I'm in no position to lecture you. Yeah, the Opium King. Anyway, that night, we see that it's storming, raining, and Lau gets up and loads his pistol, walks down the steps, and he sees a room with a light on, and he kind of creaks the door open and peers in, and he sees Ada, who calls out to him, I knew you'd come. You're not the real Matthew Berg. Okay, there we go. She's got him. She's known the whole time, apparently. How? The day you were admitted here, what you screamed when you were confused, was war in America, not Africa. That's the shit I've been pointing out for months now. There was when he talked when he was in control, talking to his friends, or the guys at the sanatorium, he said North Africa, but he said Arizona in the breakdown, which goes to show the breakdown was a completely genuine moment. That was, Lau's actual breakdown. Or not Lau's breakdown, Baldroy's breakdown, or at the very least, kind of flavored by his own experiences. in his attempt to give a convincing breakdown, he dipped into his own experiences rather than the fake Matthew Berg experiences. But anyway, Ada kind of presses him. Who are you? Why do you come to the sanatorium? And Baldroy doesn't really answer, but instead says, you were suspicious of me from the very beginning. Then why did you show me that facility? And then Baldroy kind of presses her now. You have a guilty conscience, don't ya? So there, it seems like Baldroy is kind of implying that, like, Ada does know, right? That she is aware of what's going on. She doesn't like it. She's not on board with it. But she'll do what she has to for the sanatorium. Maybe this arc will end with the Phantom Hives kind of becoming, or CL, I should say, not the Phantom Hives in general, but just CL, becoming the sponsor of the sanatorium. Maybe if CL were kinder than he is. But either way, Ada doesn't really answer. Kind of can't bring herself to answer. And Baldroy continues, I'm under the orders of a certain gentleman to investigate a secret organization that collects blood. You must have heard of Sphere Music Hall, which made the front pages because they killed people. I'm glad we're, like, bringing up Sphere Music Hall again, because that is the inciting incident of this arc, and it has not been brought up in several years, real-world time at this point. Anyway, Baldroy presses, How can a nurse put her patients at risk? And Ada finally counters, that's the line that finally sets her off. I'm not! And she turns away. I will protect the former servicemen's lives. But that is not enough. I can protect their dignity by providing their blood. And Baldroy questions, dignity? Patients are in filthy beds, laying in their own excrement. Rodents and bugs are everywhere. They're merely kept alive in horrid conditions. That is the quality of nursing care all over this empire. Like this is Ada just snapping. You see, like, the background is her in, like, a fit of rage. I cannot condone that. Dignity is as important as life. So yeah, that actually, honestly, Ada's becoming a really interesting, kind of complex character. Yeah, she does, contrary to what Baldroy kind of implied earlier, she does know. She's kind of being taken advantage of, but I think she does know. Or at least heavily suspects that her sponsors were also responsible for Sphere. But, like, you know, as she says, dignity is as important as life, in her own mindset. We can debate till the cows come home how true that is, but in her own mindset, that is very much the case. And so, she's willing to, you know, give them enough blood to survive, or enough blood. She's only taking enough blood that her patients aren't dying. So she doesn't really see the harm in it all. You know, they're not dying. This isn't Sphere Music Hall. And she doesn't quite have the context of the Four Lords or whatever, and all of that good stuff that we haven't touched on in several years. And so she doesn't see the problem. Anyway, I mean, she kind of maybe in the back of her mind is like, hold on, you know, if these are the same murder guys, there's something not great going on here. But in her own mind, she's kind of justified it. Anyway, Baldroy kind of presses, why are you so... And Ada just pauses before finally answering, I served as a member of the nursing team assigned to the Sudan campaign, which is as the translator note tells us, a colonial war in Sudan that began in 1881. The city of Khartoum, where the British Army was stationed, fell in 1885. What I witnessed there was hell. And we see Ada in like a more traditional nurse's outfit, I think. Like bloodied and torn, her arm seemingly broken. Troops were like standing over a pile of corpses. What I witnessed there was hell. Troops were encircled and annihilated. Screams, sprays of blood. I could not do a thing. I could not even let them die in peace. I shamelessly survived and returned to my country. The only way I can expiate my sins is through nursing. And Baldroy kind of has lowered the gun now. I think, I'm trying to see if he's had the, I think he might have had the gun lowered. Yeah, I'm trying to see if he had the gun lowered for a while, but his arm is kind of blocked by Ada or by speech bubbles most of the time. But I think it's only after her big speech there that he finally like lowers the gun. And we see Baldroy. You shamelessly survived, eh? He like lowered his gun, looking at her. I did too. And Ava looks at him. And then, oh, please don't tell me we're going back to Flashback Land. Please tell me we are not going back for another 9 months of flashbacks, Yana. I will grant you, like, admittedly, if this is the Baldroy flashback, it fits better than the Mayrin flashback. I'll give you that much. And in acknowledgement of that, I will give you until the end of next chapter before we're spending too long on any one flashback. No, do not cut in your momentum. Like, this sub-arc, I should say, the Sanatorium sub-arc has gotten some really good momentum on it. There's a lot of, like, good pace. Like, this chapter is like, much faster than anything Butler's given us in a long time, it feels like. It's not fast. It's not like what a monthly manga should be, but it's Butler fast. And at this point, I'll take Butler fast. But if we dive into a flashback right now, killing all the momentum Yana has built up over the past several months, oh god, don't you fucking do it. But let's see, we're in Flashback Land, we can tell by the black borders. It's raining, and there's a cave. And a man, presumably Baldroy, kind of rises up, surrounded by corpses. And we see, it is Baldroy, he's like shell-shocked. And he's looking at the corpse of a fellow soldier. I'm guessing, I don't know enough about military. If he was in Arizona, I imagine he'd be fighting Native Americans. And that's a white guy. So I'm guessing that's his own fellow soldier, who is dead. And he grabs his arm, and he's holding a knife like he's about to, like, cut it off. Maybe to eat? Is he starving? But then he sees a noise. And it's Sebastian laying out a picnic blanket and getting a picnic ready and pouring tea for Baldroy. And Sebastian turns to him. Hello. How about a cup of tea? To be continued. Okay. Alright. Alright. How are we gonna start this? Okay. We should still, I'm not if this is, okay, I see that Yana kind of wants this whole arc to be the part where we learn about the servants' pasts, right? But, like, she's by and large not doing a great job of it. If the Mayrin flashback is anything to go by. And this flashback here has, let's say, 3 things going for it. 2.5. Let's get the half out first. And then I'm still kind of distrustful on this point, but Yana's momentum has really been much better in this arc than it was during Heathfield. And so I'm a little bit more trusting than I was during the, 9 months of meandering Mayrin shit, of which only 3 mattered for the flashback itself, and none of which mattered for the storyline. Here, it at least, fits, for our second point, it fits in with the story. It's understandable, given the circumstances, that, Baldroy would tell Ava what happened. Ada? I forget if her name is Ada or Ava. I know I said it earlier, but I don't remember which it was. My point being that, it makes sense he would tell her what happened. Because she's gone and described what she went through in Sudan, and so he's kind of, yeah, I know what you're going through. I know what it's like to kind of shamelessly survive. And the third thing that makes me more excited for this flashback than Mayrin's, is just how absurd that ending is. We open with this, horrific, Baldroy contemplating eating his comrade's arm. And then we cut to Sebastian laying a picnic blanket on the other side of the cave. Um, and honestly, while Mei Ren's flashback had all of this sort of drama about the King Bang that didn't really matter, but was just kind of getting thrown at us, and her whole like mission to assassinate CL and all of that, there was like stuff there that doesn't feel like is there for this. Going back to my reasons that I'm less cautious about this flashback than maybe I should be, is that like there's like what else can happen here? You know, he meets Sebastian, and then Sebastian kind of takes him in, or CL kind of takes him in. Like I could believably see this flashback, maybe even ending next chapter if we are very lucky. Maybe by 177. Possibly. Hopefully by 177 at the absolute latest. Because again, still pretty distrusting of Yana when it comes to flashbacks. But anyway, let's actually talk about the chapter. Now that I've rambled on about the flashback for 2 or 4 minutes, it's honestly really good. I like the way that Baldroy kind of like weasels his way into sort of getting the spare Ada. Ava, one sec. I'm gonna give me 2 seconds to try to Google this. But like he doesn't want to kill her, and so he kind of like explains it away to Baldroy in a way that like makes sense. You know, why would he kill her? That's not his job. His job is to just get rid of the sanatorium. And so he does get rid of the sanatorium. Ada. It was Ada. I knew that, and then I forgot because I'm very stupid. But anyway, he's saying that his goal is to destroy the sanatorium, and if Ada is innocent here, then there's no reason to kill her, and it's not the job. And then just like that, they sort of leave it there, and Baldroy goes investigating, and in the span of a page, he's confronting Ada, and Ada is confronting him. And they are finally laying all their cards on the table. You know, Ada reveals that she's kind of been on to him the whole time. Baldroy reveals that he's working for someone to investigate the blood collection that's related to Spear Music Hall. And Ada's like, yeah, I kind of figured that's what this was about. But damn it, they deserve their dignity, because I know what it's like when a soldier dies without dignity, and I'm not letting that happen again. And like it's fast. It's not too fast. It's exactly the kind of pace this should be. Like this is good shit, Yana. Just don't fuck it up with another flashback. So yeah, this is a really good chapter, and it could turn to be really bad really fast if Yana does not play her cards right. But hopefully this flashback will take 2 chapters at an absolute most. I'm cautious, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be cautious because the Mei Ren flashback happened, but I'll take what we can get. And you know what? I'm gonna go along for the ride. So yeah, that's all I got to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!